My name is Nitai Duranja. I'm the co-founder of Education for Life. And these videos, I'm taking one chapter at a time from the book, Education for Life, to kind of just show examples of how these wonderful ideas are put into practice. I began working with these ideas back in 1970, so it's been a long time, and it's been a joy to be able to do these things. So the chapter today is chapter 16, the foundation years. And this comes from the stages of maturity that Education for Life talks about. And the first stage is the foundation or body years and goes from the ages of 0 to 6. During the first 6 years, as we have seen, a child can learn best through the medium of his body and by developing his awareness through the 5 senses. While developing this awareness, he can learn other things better if he is invited to act them out instead of having them explained to him merely. This is a really important point because it can be a cause of major frustration with parents and teachers if you try to convince a child or talk to a young child using only the intellect, only words. They're not developed in that way, and they may misunderstand you or they just get confused, but it creates a lot of tension. But if you can go down to their level, it's hard to ask them to come up to our level, but that's usually what we do. We talk to them the same way we do to our friends, but they're not there. So we have to go down to their level to create the bridge of communication. And their bridge is the body, physical years. All you have to do is spend a little bit of time with a 3 or 4-year-old, and you just know that all their energy is going into the physical plane. They're trying out their body parts, they're running, they're jumping, skipping. It's one of the delightful parts of childhood. So how do we make use of this in trying to help children uplift their consciousness, expand their awareness, all the main things of Education for Life? Well, I'm going to share a couple of stories from the pre-primary grades. This first one is called Rocks in a Basket. So the teacher has set a goal for the class on some quality that is important for that group's growth. The teacher has tuned into the child and now has a way to understand what they need next. So let's say it's cooperation, that this class, they don't know how to cooperate. So the teacher will describe, talk about cooperation, show them examples of it. You can play act things too. The children of this age love that. Just what it means to be cooperative or uncooperative. And then sets the goal for the children to say, okay, now we want to become aware of these acts of cooperation. So if you see somebody in the class being cooperative, you can go up to this basket, and there's a pile of rocks next to it, and you can put one of the rocks into the basket. Now, you can't do it for yourself. You can only do it by watching other people. So they're learning another skill of being attentive to other realities. And then you'll say, when the basket is completely full, we'll have some kind of a celebration. Maybe we'll have a pizza pie or something like that, something that the children are interested in. And so then you just put it out. It's there in some part of the classroom, and the kids all know about it. They could design pictures around it and all kinds of stuff to make it more dynamic. And then the class goes on, and the teacher is just, in the background. It's the students who are looking for those moments, and then they will go over there and put the rock in the basket. So the rock is the tangible focal point, whereas the idea of cooperation is harder for them to stay in touch with. But this rock and the fact that it's going in this basket grounds the lesson and makes them be able to stay attentive to it over a period of time. A similar one is called Water Off a Duck's Back. And this one is to learn to be even-minded and to not let life's ups and downs bother us that much. We all have that challenge, right, as adults. Some days are good, some days aren't so good, ups and downs. thing is to be able to let go and not just, if you had a bad day or a bad incident, hold on to it and make the rest of the day bad. So the teacher explains that this time there's like a porcelain duck. And the duck is sitting in this bowl, and next to the bowl there's a pitcher of water. And maybe there's a spoon then you dish out the water from the bowl. So in this case, this is more of an introspective one. The child will have gone through something. Maybe somebody said something wrong at the recess. Maybe somebody didn't want to share their toys, or something went wrong. If the child, can learn how to just let that flow off, maybe the teachers taught them breathing exercises, tensing and relaxing exercises, things to deal with stress of this kind, then when the child does that, is able to let go of the incident, they can go over to the bowl, take a little bit of water, pour it over, and watch it flow off the duck's back. Again, it's a tangible experience, and it's something that the child can participate in on their level, and it makes that letting go of that upset be much more easy to accomplish. The final thing was just, we mentioned it earlier, but play acting. I remember one time with my grandson, he was about 4 years old at the time, and he had done something wrong. I can't remember what it was at this point. He might have pushed something over, he was upset, and he just pushed maybe a chair over or something like that, a little mini tantrum. And knowing that just talking to him about it was not going to solve the problem, but we sat down together and we said, that created tension. Made things a little unhappy around here, and why don't we see if we can do it again and see what happens? And so my daughter, his mom, and he were there, the three of us, and we said, okay, but this time, Dante is his name. I said, Dante, you be the mama, and I'll be Dante, and Mama can be Grandpa. And so we went through it, and I went over and I knocked over the chair, and Dante, who's now acting as Mom, told me that that's not a very good idea. And then Grandpa called us all over to talk about it. And then so Dante says, let's do that again. And so I want to be the grandpa this time. And so we must have done it 5 times, just going through it. And of course, it completely lightened the energy and everything. And it also gave him a chance to just reflect on his behavior and the consequences of it. And so it's a wonderful, powerful tool. So anything you can do in working with that age group to just think, what can I do to make this tangible? What can I do to make this coming through the body and the senses? And how can I avoid over lecturing? Those 6 years, those years of the foundation years will go a lot more better for each person. Okay, nice to talk to you today.